Okay. Hey, we've had a couple more Vikings bits of news here in the last few days since the last time I did a video. Kind of chronologically, we made a trade for Jordan Mason, running back from the 49ers. Um, got him for almost nothing. I think we gave up a late one of our late round picks this year, and I think there's a pick swap in there. Um, but I think this was a great trade because you know this guy Mason, he filled in for the 49ers last year when McCaffrey went out, and he had a pretty good run there for about half the season. Um, he's a good running back. He's a good compliment guy for to go throw out there with Aaron Jones, and maybe I don't know if we're still planning on like Ty Chandler and some of these other guys, but um, I think I think if we go into the season with like Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason as our 1-2, I'm very good with that. I think that, and again, I think this is a fleecing. I really think it's a fleecing because you got a pretty good running back who's still pretty young. I think he's like 25 or 26. You know, um, he's good. you know I think this is a great trade. There's been a lot of talk about maybe drafting running back. I don't like the idea necessarily using like your first round draft pick or something on a running back when you don't have a lot of picks. You know, but I think this was a great move by Quasey, who has just been cooking the last couple weeks. Um, and then we did release Garrett Bradbury. I thought we were going to be able to get something in trade for him because if you could trade Ed Ingram and get it and get something, you know, why wouldn't you be able to get something for Garrett Bradbury? But it came out that they were going to release him, and then of course when they signed Ryan Kelly, it was obvious they were going to release him because you're not going to pay whatever were scheduled to pay Bradbury. We're not going to pay that to a backup center, and there really was no feasible way to like shift him to guard at this point. Um, so they did end up releasing him. So the 2019 first round pick never really, you can't call him a bust because he was, a 6 year starter. Um, he hung around a couple years longer than I think most people thought he would. Um, they gave him a shot, but he was never more than just a very average center at best. It just didn't work. It just didn't work out for him long term. Obviously, you use a first round pick on a center. You want that guy to be you want him to be really good for a decade plus. That didn't work out. Um, so it'll be Ryan Kelly. Obviously, I mean that was a foregone conclusion when we signed Ryan Kelly. He'll be the center. And Bradbury was picked up very quickly by the Patriots. That was a team that had been talked about that was gonna, might have maybe you could have traded for him, but that didn't materialize. So farewell, Garrett Bradbury. Um, and then I think it was either today or yesterday, we signed Jeff Okudah, cornerback, uh, former third overall pick from the Lions a few years back. Um, Pretty much a bust. I mean, he had injury issues and stuff. Um, but obviously, like you know, you take a cornerback at number three, you expect him to be a superstar, and it was never even close. He's bounced around to a couple other teams since. I didn't see what the maybe they didn't even report it yet what the money was. It's probably not a big deal, but again, I will always defer to to Brian Flores because I'm sure he signed off on this. Maybe he sees something in Okuda that he can mold a little bit. Obviously, we as of now we have a very reworked secondary. Um, Guys leaving, coming in, other than Byron Murphy. It's going to be a very different unit back there. But we certainly have a lot to build on at this point. With Murphy's back, Makai Blackman's going to be coming back from injury. Um, we signed Isaiah Rogers. We got Okuda, um, and then obviously like the safeties, we got Metellus, Harrison Smith coming back, Theo Jackson. Um, so there's we certainly I think still have more to do um, at corner. There's a couple of our guys who are still unsigned out there too, um, that we could still bring back. So I think we're doing our thing. And they also signed some special teams receiver who I'd never heard of. But again, we're at the point now where it's not like I don't think it's going to be the major moves, but it's the small moves. But as has been brought up many times now over the last few days, it's like even cutting Bradbury, which you were going to do anyway. But it's like they still have a lot of cap space, even with all the stuff they've been doing the last week and a half. They still have a lot of cap space. We still have to sign a quarterback. This utterly fraudulent Aaron Rodgers story is still floating out there, but I mean, there's a lot of good backup options who have not signed yet, so we're gonna get somebody. But we still have a big chunk of cap space, so I don't know what they could maybe do still. If they maybe have like a little cherry on top of the free agency period that they're still playing. I don't know like who's really still out there as free agents, but maybe you make a trade. Granted, we don't have a lot of draft capital to make trades, but maybe there's something brewing. Who knows? And maybe there's nothing brewing. Maybe they're just, hey, it's nice to have the cap space, and hell, you can always push it to next year if you have extra cap space. But I mean, the excellent Vikings offseason just rolls on. I've either liked or loved everything they've done. I don't have complaints about anything. I think everything they've done so far has at the very least been a good move. And I think we're building a hell of a roster. And I'll probably say this every time up until week 1. I think it's all going to depend on, is JJ McCarthy legit? If he's ready to roll, if he comes out the gate good. I think what I'm hoping for is like 2000 Dante Culpepper. Guy who sits for a year and comes in and is really good right away. And I think and if McCarthy is that level, yeah, we can start thinking about major playoff runs. Because I mean, it's a lot to ask to have any first-year starting quarterback come in and be great. But if he is, he's got a hell of a roster backing him up. So, Kwesi, keep on cooking.